Good morning. Happy Monday, April 27th. I am going to go over 8.2, the reciprocal function family assignments that you have. These assignments are going to be for Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to start spreading out the assignments to give you guys an extra day to complete them. For the next 2 days, you do have 3 parts. One part is super short. If you look at this right here, task number one right here, you have to go to Edpuzzle and watch the video and questions. So that will appear on slide number 2. Please make sure you guys are clicking on the correct class. When you go to the website, make sure you watch the entire video. Today's lesson is important that you guys are taking notes. We are going to be looking at new material, so please take notes so this week is much easier for you. You will have homework on this, and it will not be a multiple choice homework, so you are going to need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Assignment number 2 is going to be using Google Slides. This is an interactive assignment. I have all the types of examples here. So if we look at this first one here where it says create the curves, you can use any of these tools. I personally use the scribble tool because it's a little bit easier to deal with than the connector tools when I'm drawing. Then the thickness tool, if you draw a line and you can barely see it, you can click on this thickness thing here, this little button, and you can change how thick you want your curve or your line to be. And then the dash and solid, once you actually draw the curve or the line, you can choose how you want it to look. So when we're dealing with the vertical and horizontal asymptote, you do want it to be dashed. So please change it from a solid to a dashed line. And then once you do draw your lines, you can change either end here with an arrow, and you should be using arrows. And then here are a couple extra directions here where it says the line will help draw the vertical and horizontal asymptote, and then make sure it is dashed. When you use the curve or the scribble tool to create the functions portion, and then put arrows at the end of each of your curves. Additional examples are below to help you guide the 4 homework assignment problems. And I want you guys to do your best. If it is blank, you will not earn full credit, but I am not going to be taking points off for it to be wrong. For your X and Y intercept, you guys hopefully know how to do that once you watch the video, and also for the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. I'm not going to actually do the example, but I'm just going to make up and show how you do it. So if I want to draw my vertical and horizontal asymptote, I am going to click this little segment button where it says line. I'm going to go down to the arrow, and I'm just going to press my right cursor button wherever I want to start it, and I'm going to drag it all the way down. Now, it's a little thin. What I'm going to do right here is make sure both of these have an arrow on them. Doesn't matter which arrow you choose as long as they both have arrows. And I'm also going to make this thicker. So I usually use a 4 or an 8. And then since it is going to be an asymptote, I'm just going to make it a dash line. It doesn't matter which one you use. I personally use that one. It doesn't matter. And if you like it to be thicker, I go to 8. That's honestly the highest I'll go, but I'm going to go back to 4 because I definitely hit it at 4. I'm a little obsessive, and you guys know that. So I'm going to change it to be a color because I like colors. Green's a little too bright, so I'm going to make it, let's say, this little auburnish color. And now we're going to do a horizontal one. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to press the arrow button. I'm going to click to say where I want it. You guys are going to have to do your math first to figure out where these actually go. I'm just showing you how to draw them. I'm going to change this width to 4. I'm going to make sure both of my pieces have arrows on both sides. And since it's an asymptote, I got to make sure that it is a dashed one. And I need to personally, I'm going to change the color because I want to change the color. So there we go. Now, imagine that we are graphing this. So if you're at the point and you're like, oh, I know this is a positive function, so it's in quadrant 1 and it's in quadrant 3. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to use the scribble button because I like to use the scribble button. I'm going to keep my finger on the cursor. Now I made a mistake, so I'm going to delete it. I'm going to try it again. This is a trial and error. You got to go very slowly. Do not go too quickly because it is a little devious. And it's not perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect. You're doing it on a computer. If you want it to be perfect, then good luck. And may the odds be ever in your favor because it's not going to be perfect. I made my thickness to 8 because I wanted to, and then my arrows need to have arrows on both sides. So that's what roughly it's going to look like. Now, if you're efficient like I am, I'm going to click this picture. I'm going to Control C it, and I'm going to click the outside over here to Control V. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this rotate button, and I'm going to rotate it all the way around so that I don't have to graph it again. And I'm just going to drag it down there. And there's what my function looks like. This is not the correct answer for number 1, so don't copy and paste this and think it's correct. It is not correct. I just made it up. That is what you're going to be doing for today's activity. When you're done with, there's 4 problems here. You're going to get the hang of it. If you really hate 100% doing it on the computer, I personally love doing things on the computer because I'm a weirdo and I really like this stuff. You can do it on paper. However, you will have to upload images of your assignment into this Google Classroom. If you don't, then I'm going to assume you didn't do it. If you scroll down here, there's on slide 7, there's extra notes that I included that go reviews over what the video talked about. It talks about your shifting H and your shifting up and down K. It talks about A, which is your slope. So if that number is not 1, then it's stretching or compressing. If you look at this example that I completed for you, it tells you how to find each of these portions. The video also does a great job doing that. I spent a lot of time trying to find a good video. And then if you go down, this is another example that I would have taught in class. And then here's an example of how I graphed it. This is an actual correct answer. So if you want to look at this problem down here, figure out what I did if you need extra clarification. And that's what I did here. But your goal for the homework is to complete these on slide 4 and 5, both of these. I'm going to delete this now so that when I post this, you're not going to be like, oh, she did number 1 for us. Woohoo! No, I didn't. Okay, great. After you're done with your homework, you can submit this. Please make sure that Monday and Tuesday you also go to part 3, which is the discussion question. It is not posted in this Google slide, right? Oh, yeah, it is. It's right here. On slide 6, after you do your homework, part number 3, the discussion board question is written here. I'm trying to find decently enjoyable questions about money or math the best I can. This week's discussion questions are more open-ended. This one I really enjoy, so I will probably be responding back to you because I'm obsessed with finances and buying cars. So please enjoy yourself the next 2 days. Stay safe. If you need help, please let me know. I have been doing tutoring, and this is probably a section that you might want to do tutoring. So if there's a lot of you, I might schedule a time to see a bunch of you, and we'll go over the notes. Have a great 2 days.